Hey, what's up, guys and gals? Good morning and happy Monday. Back to the grind. And a beautiful day here in Massachusetts. I am in a good mood. I can feel spring coming right up. But all right, y'all, I've got about 15 minutes. I've got an electrician here. He's got to fix a few things in the office. And he's kind enough to give me a few minutes to take you good folks through a little bit of prep work. So we'll jump right in. S&P 500. So I think the biggest thing to keep in mind, if we jump over to the monthly chart, we got that big bad monthly squeeze. And a good rule of thumb when a squeeze fires, that can take you for about 8 to 10 bars. Another good rule of thumb when a squeeze fires, you tend to get a push towards that 3 ATR target. And then possibly things get a little bit tired and, dare I say it, maybe you pull back from there. So that target on the monthly squeeze is about 51.85. I'm going to call it 5,200. I mean, hey, if we get to 51.85, what's another 15 bucks? So do keep an eye on that. And if anything, shift your focus to your lower time frames. Mark up that 5,200, which we'll do right here. And then from there, guys, to play for a move into that level, drill down to your 5-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute hourly time frames. Find yourselves a lower time frame squeeze. Right, and the scores are looking good. Perfect 10 out of 10. We are bullish. We've got stacked EMAs, good structure. We are above the trailing stop. Very bullish indeed. And then we'll drop down to the daily chart. And she is pretty as well. 10 out of 10, good structure. And then a lot of lower time frame buy signals. The weekly, the daily, the 4-hour, 2-hour, 1-hour, 30, and the 15, all cranking out that buy signal. And then next is QQQ. You might have heard of it. And the QQQ here on the daily chart, we got ourselves a little squeeze action. All right, perfect 10 out of 10. Big three signals are bullish. The squeeze is bullish. We've got the stacked EMAs, the good structure. We are above the trailing stop. And keep in mind, we're going to do an update here for the squeeze probably within the next 2 or 3 weeks, which will, the update will include all the new labels here. Got a few new goodies for y'all. So good looking daily squeeze. We've got a 4-hour, 2-hour, 1-hour, 30, and a 15-minute buy signal. No red flags, no big issues. Doesn't mean we have to keep going higher, but everything is positioned in that fashion. And then I think the most interesting index, like as far as a fresh opportunity, would actually be the small caps. The little fellas. Perfect daily chart. A beauty, right? A true beauty of a 2-day squeeze. Right, really, really clean. We've got a 3-day squeeze. Also very, very bullish. And then I think the big one here is going to be that monthly squeeze, which actually flipped bullish last week. We went from the slingshot signal to the official buy signal. So it's a perfect monthly squeeze. Big three scores a 10 out of 10. It is an A+ setup. All right, buy signals, good squeeze, good structure. So one of my members of the mastery asked me over the weekend, and it was a really good question. He's like, hey, we got a lot of different labels. We got a lot of different pretty colors here. What's the most important label? If we were to take all of these and just focus on one, what would be the one? It'd be the A+ setup label. When we have an A+ setup, all of the trend criteria, structure criteria, the entry, the stacked EMAs, everything's coming together at once. The A+ setup means we have a squeeze. We've got buy signals. More importantly, we've got a good entry near that 21 EMA. Right, if those things come together in my book, it's an A+ setup. And one thing's for sure, an A+ setup on the monthly chart can definitely pack a punch. And remember, the S&Ps, if we jump over to that monthly squeeze, we were getting our slingshot signals back here in April and May. That's your early heads up. Right? You've got a squeeze. And the slingshot signal pretty much tells you, hey, pay attention. Sometime soon, you're probably going to get a green bar. Now, you're going to get the official buy signal. From the slingshot to the buy signal to your 3 ATR target. So for the small caps here, this is it's our initial heads up. Sometime in the next 2 to 3 to 4 or 5, maybe 6 months, they want to take that towards that 235-ish target. And I think, hey, if we get there, since we're in the neighborhood, we might as well take out the top and break out to a brand new all-time high. So keep that in your back pocket. And then I think another interesting one would be the equal weighted S&P 500. The RSP. It'd help if I typed in the right ticker, RSP. Keep in mind, this doesn't have the influence of a few big tech stocks. If you pop open the SPX, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, Google, you've got 4 or 5 stocks that make up 20, 25% of the entire market. The RSPs are 500 stocks from the S&Ps, but they're all on an equal weighted basis. Meaning Caterpillar is, Caterpillar is just as important as Google, and Amazon's no more important than a Visa. So in plain English, if the RSP is bullish, it's potentially one sign of a healthier market. One potential sign that the breadth is improving. It's not just your tech stocks, it's not just SMCI and Nvidia, but your bank stocks, the energy stocks, the healthcare stocks, the industrials, everything across the board should be in a position to go higher when the RSP is bullish. And I wanted to show you the monthly squeeze because that's a very interesting one. From the slingshot to the official buy signal, and we are knocking on the breakout level. Now, I would imagine if the S&Ps keep pushing, if the RSP keeps pushing, I would expect Nvidia, right, SMCI. I would expect the big boys. They should continue to be at the forefront of the move. But if the RSP can break out, and we're headed up there towards 175, 180, again, that would imply that healthcare, energy, financials, most things should do pretty good. Alrighty, so there's your indices, and now we'll flip over to the futures. And we got a few squeezes going here, so we'll do the NQ first. And for those of you here in the Essentials room, I'll be back at 10:30 a.m. Central. Depending on how things look at that point, we might trade a few of these squeezes here. But all right, the NQ. So you've got your daily squeeze with a fresh buy signal, and then a few more here on our lower time frames: a 1 hour, a 30, a 15, and the 5. Let's run the 1 hour squeeze through our checklist. And at this point, the labels, that's basically our checklist. And if you want to keep it simple, you could focus on nothing but that A+ setup label. Alrighty, so we are one dot into an hourly squeeze. And it's not quite an A+ setup, right? Not quite picture perfect, but things are pretty bullish. The score is 7 out of 10. The big 3 signals are neutral. The squeeze is neutral. We're not too far from the hourly 21, the hourly entry. We don't have positively stacked EMAs, but the structure is pretty good. 8 EMA above our 21, 21 above our 50, and we are above the trailing stop. So again, I wouldn't call it the perfect hourly squeeze. I'm not dying to jump in and get long or short just yet, but with a big 3 score of 7, it does lean in the favor of the bulls. And we'll go check the 30, the dirty 30. And by now, you should all know the drill. If I find an hourly squeeze, if I want to call for a push higher from the hourly squeeze, I can't just sit there and stare at the hourly squeeze. I've got to check the 30-minute time frame, the 15-minute, the 5-minute. I might even check the 2-minute and the 1-minute. We've got to get that multi-time frame alignment. Meaning before the 1-hour squeeze can fire to the upside, can we get some 15-minute, 5-minute buy signals? Little confirmation from the ground up. So the 30-minute it's just okay. We're a 3 out of 10, so not going to knock your socks off. It is not quite an A-plus setup. The big 3 signals are neutral. We do have the slingshot squeeze. Light blue means a slingshot squeeze. And hey, if you want to buy it right here, you've got a really good entry. Pretty much right on top of that 21 EMA. We don't quite have stacked EMAs, but the other structure criteria is pretty good. 8 above our 21, 21 above our 50. We are below that trailing stop, 18,356. So before we can push and take out the highs here, we got to shift that trailing stop and get back above it. So now the question is, can the 30-minute squeeze trigger a push higher from the 1-hour squeeze? It could, but it's not really perfect. You want that thing above the trailing stop. You want your buy signals. You want your stacked EMAs. We are not there quite yet. Let's go check the 15. Kind of speed things up here. Less than ideal. That ain't going to cut it, guys. Big 3 scores and -3. The signals are neutral. The squeeze is neutral. You've got your 8 EMA under your 21. No bueno. 21 under the 50. Also no bueno. And we are above the trailing stop. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag, as they would say. It's not mind-blowingly bullish. It's not mind-blowingly bearish. It's just kind of eh. And I don't like getting long or short when things are just eh. And then we'll check the 5. But the reason I'm checking things here from the ground up, I'm trying to get a sense of, should I buy the hourly squeeze? Should I short the hourly squeeze? Or should I go walk my dog and do nothing? This all kind of points towards, for now, go walk your dog and do nothing. All right, 5-minute is a -3. Signals are neutral. Structure is a bit iffy. We are under the trailing stop, so not the greatest. Not the greatest if we're looking for a trigger to take price higher from the hourly squeeze. We don't have that pattern recognition, at least not yet. So that all points towards patience. And then the S&Ps here. All right, 1-hour squeeze is, again, not the best. Not bad, but not the best. 3 out of 10. Signals are neutral. The squeeze is neutral. Structure is okay, and we're below that trailing stop. Doesn't scream get long, doesn't scream get short. It just kind of screams be a patient individual. And that's it for squeezes on the futures. You got a few more on the NQ and just the hourly here on the ES. All right, so with all that out of the way, I'll show you guys a few daily squeezes here. And not to be a broken record, but keep in mind, if you lose the market meaning the S&Ps, the QQQ, the IWM, the Dow, everything just starts pulling back. None of these will work. There might be a few that work, but I think a good mindset. If I don't have the wind at my back from the market, the best setups no longer work how they should. As always, we'll kick it off here with Microsoft. And we got long Microsoft in the mastery on Thursday. We got our daily squeeze, 8 out of 10. We've got the slingshot signals. We've got good structure. We are under the trailing stop, right around 417-ish. So if we are going to get a big breakout, got to get above that, and we got to shift it. But all in all, a good-looking squeeze. We've got the multi-time frame buy signals, and you had a few lower time frame squeezes last week. Had a big one here on the 4-hour. We had another one here on the 2-hour. We had another one here on the 1-hour, and I'm pretty sure we had a 30-minute. Yeah, the power of the nested squeeze. First goes the 30-minute, then goes the 1-hour, then goes the 2-hour, then goes the 4-hour, and eventually you're looking for the daily squeeze to break long. So we've got the out the money call debit spreads, and we're looking for a push towards 425-ish. Like I said, if the S&Ps and the QQQ pull back this week in a big, meaningful fashion, we're not going to get that 425. But because it's a good setup, vice versa, S&Ps keep pushing, QQQ keeps pushing, this should do pretty well. So I like Microsoft, and then we're also long some BAC, Bank of America. And doesn't mean it works, but for now, it's a perfect setup. 10 out of 10. It's an A-plus setup. Big three is bullish. The squeeze is bullish. You got stacked EMAs. You've got good structure. And you are above the trailing stop. So we're looking for a push here towards a bull target of just about 36 bucks. And we got a few more. There's a 4-hour squeeze. That one is also perfect. There is a 2-day squeeze. Not too shabby. And then finally, the 3-day squeeze. Very nice indeed. So we're long both of those. And then for a few more here, you've got, excuse me, Airbnb. Now, as a good rule of thumb, at least for me personally, if you look at that label right there, ATR 21, that's how many average true range moves we are above the 21 EMA. A good rule of thumb, anytime you're about 1.5 to 2 ATR above the buy zone, for me, it's a little bit too late. Where if I really want to lock in a good entry, and more importantly, lock in a good risk reward, I've got to buy that ideally right on top of the 21. Maybe about half an ATR, maybe 1 ATR, 1.7 to 2. It's a little bit extended, but it's a beautiful setup. A beauty indeed. So maybe you try to catch it on a pullback. Maybe you try to catch it on a lower time frame squeeze. But that all looks good for a push towards 170-ish. 168, 170. All right, next up is DraftKings. And this one's got the slingshot signals, meaning it's almost perfect. We're getting the early heads up here sometime soon. We should get the green arrow, right? The official buy signal. If we can get the official buy signal in the context of a squeeze, you're looking for 47 to about 48. So DraftKings not too bad. And then I think we got a few more here. Mara. So Claudia in the Mastery called out Mara over the weekend. And here's the thing. We don't have a daily squeeze. However, the daily chart is perfect as far as structure and all the other criteria here. All right, 10 out of 10. Big three is bullish. You're above that trailing stop, good structure, stacked EMAs. That all points towards a pushback towards 36-ish. Now, where you do have a squeeze is over here on the 3-day time frame. Very good looking 3-day squeeze. So if anything this morning, I'm going to watch the 30-minute and the 15-minute, and I might take those lower time frame squeezes as the entry. 15-minute looking like it wants to fire to the upside, 30-minute looking like it wants to fire to the upside. In the context of a perfect daily chart and a really good looking 3-day squeeze, the lower time frame squeezes might make for a good entry. So there is some Mara for you, and then a few more off the top of my head. You got Datadog. It's not perfect, but there's a lot of squeezes. The 3-day time frame, the 2-day time frame, the daily, the 4-hour, the 2-hour, the 1-hour, the 30, and the 5. Squeeze on squeeze. And then I think you've got ANET. Again, you're about 2 ATR above that 21. So not my favorite entry, but catch it on a pullback, catch it on a lower time frame squeeze. That could all work out very nicely. But all right, y'all, I apologize. I got to run here. Got the electrician waiting on me. So sorry for making things so short and sweet this morning. But like I said, for those of you here in the Essentials room, I'll be back later today at 10:30 a.m. Central. For those of y'all on YouTube, I'm going to try to get a video posted tonight on the channel, and then I'll be back on Wednesday. And I tell y'all what, for the Wednesday morning prep session, we'll kick things off at the usual time, and then we'll probably keep the stream going for a good hour, hour and a half. Trade through the first hour of the session live together. But all right, y'all, I got to run, so thank you as always. Much appreciated. Hope you all had a good weekend, and I hope you all kick some major butt this week. Alrighty. Essentials, folks, I will see you in about 2 hours. For the rest of y'all, I will catch you soon. Adios.